Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, CDK Square, we're back, and I put a TikTok from social media out there letting everybody know that this is going to be one of your favorite episodes.
Yes, it should be.
Third time's charm.
Yes, it is.
All right, and so we got this idea. Remember Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
We put a episode out. If a Christian should celebrate Halloween or not. We were asking a question.
Yeah, just want to know people's opinions, questions.
No, and we did say some things of our own opinions.
Yes.
And so some people got a little upset. Some people got a little offended.
Yeah.
And then some people got a little snappy.
Yeah. It surprised me.
I don't know. It kind of surprised me, but it didn't. Just maybe the snappiness of it all and whatnot. But through all of that, we didn't really respond. I don't think we responded at all.
No, we were just sharing our opinion. It's just, sorry if you got offended. We were curious. What was your opinion? What was your thoughts biblically? Sorry.
Yeah, and this taught me something really awesome. Make sure your research is in depth and as correct as possible if somebody else was to Google it. And let's try another holiday episode. Because, listen, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like to poke the bear a little bit, but I like to learn as well. I like to soak up knowledge. And so this is the opportunity of other Christians and non-Christians to speak their minds and their thoughts respectfully.
Mm-hmm. Learn together, grow together. So
we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. LEF
and Christina
want to know, should Christians celebrate Christmas? That's the real question. So we got looking into it, and you come up with some research, correct?
I did come up with some research.
And I did too.
Yeah, we both went in on this together. It just kind of piqued our interest. We've both had thoughts along this, since Halloween, about other holidays being based around paganism. And technically, yes, Christmas is, because it's not really Jesus's birthday. They decided to bring trees in a house and then decorate it.
Well,
and
it goes a little bit deeper than that. Before that, that's really smashing everything together. All right. So what happened was, we celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. And last year was our first year really walking with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And we were new to the faith, young Christians, baby Christians, whatever. And we decided we're going to put Christ into Christmas here.
Yes.
Because we never did that before.
No. And we knew about, it was Jesus' birthday growing up. But we didn't, it wasn't like I know what he did for me kind of recognition. It was just cool.
He was born on Christmas Day.
Yeah, thanks for the presents.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so we had a wonderful Christmas.
Yes, we really did.
My family, the 24th is our big thing.
Yeah.
Now we added church to it, and now we fellowship with our brothers and sisters there. But
we spoke.
Yeah, we got to speak.
Yeah.
And at our church there. And then afterwards, my parents, we always put on a little event, and we have friends and family over, and there's food and friendship and laughter and fellowship. And it was a great Christmas.
Yeah.
I am admittingly Clark Griswold.
Oh, ever.
The outside of the home, I want it decorated. I want it lit in all kinds of colors. I want Christmas just everywhere.
Yeah.
Inside the home, you do a really great job.
Thank you.
We get together and the tree's up and everything else. We celebrate and enjoy Christmas.
Yes, we do.
Is Bing Crosby not playing?
Constantly.
We love the old school Christmas tunes, but we are also followers and lovers of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So the first things first, we find out early before Christmas season that it was never Jesus's birthday, that they can't actually pinpoint the time.
Yeah, it's nowhere in the Bible.
They can break down the season. Now, so far, two prominent months have stuck out to to us in our research in Google, and that's the springtime around March and then fall around September.
Yeah, I Googled when they did their census because it said about, Mary and Joseph traveling. And all I could find is it was done every 5 years in the Roman culture. But what popped into my head was this, Mary, the little lamb, was born. So I'm like, I wonder, just like deer, if there's specific time frame that lambs are born. I think it was March through April or February through
Something
April.
like that. Yeah.
April is the main time. So I'm like, ooh. And it's just, there's so much. It's fun to dive into the Bible.
If you look at it and they say, well, he was born 6 months after John.
Yeah.
And so we looked at that, which would have brought into September. Mm-hmm. So again, it's just like, okay, well, we can't pinpoint it. Like, I can't pinpoint it.
No.
And I believe that I would have to do tons of research and studying of the Bible and the timelines and whatnot to actually be able to come up with a logical answer, or at least a really good guesstimate.
Yeah.
Or estimate, you know what I mean? So for right now, what I can say in almost a confidence, definitely 99.99999, is it's not December 25th.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely not.
All right. So you were correct to say that Christmas actually has pagan origins as the winter solstice.
Yes, that's it. I started Googling traditions, like how did the Christmas tree first come about? Because people were saying that decorating a Christmas tree was satanic. I'm like, how?
Satanic. So that's okay. We digress.
Yeah, sorry.
But listen, so you are right. They would have trees, and they would have ornaments on these trees. And it's crazy because of the festivities that they would sell. They were called Saturnalia trees. All right, Saturnalia. I'm just butchering the word, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
it's for the god of.
You're doing real well.
Yeah, I guess.
Practice.
So it's a form of tree. It's a Christmas tree, and it can be traced back to ancient Romans, who during the winter festivals decorated trees with small pieces of metal during Saturnalia, a winter festival to honor Saturnus, the god of agriculture. And the celebration, they would have feasting. They would have role reversals. And it's funny because we thought, what was that? Like a husband goes to wife, wife goes to husband. But during the Roman times, you never know because you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, not speaking on anything, but you never know. I thought it'd be funny if it was role reversal, parents to kids.
Yeah.
All right, you guys go pay the bills for the day, do all the cleaning, wash the horse and the buggy.
Yeah.
I want that buggy detailed, waxed and shined up, all my fighting gear, my swords, my shields. Let's go. But it's not that at all, probably. But who knows? Anyhow, gift giving.
Yeah.
And gambling.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds pretty Christmassy. Public festivals. Observances that they back then they observed public sacrifice. I don't know about that. Yeah. Okay. And a banquet for the god of Saturn. Mm-hmm. All right. So there you go with sacrifice. Now I don't know what they sacrificed. Could have been a goat, could have been a lamb, could have been a bull, could have been a guy, could have been a girl. Who knows? I don't want to go any further. And a universal wearing of Pelios. I don't even know what that is. Didn't want to look into it. And the dates were interesting because it was 17 to 23 in December. So December 17th to December 23rd. Okay. Now this is going to be really interesting here, guys. It was brought into Christmas. Christ Mass. We got to put Christ back into Christmas. And you know what? The Roman Catholic Church thought the same thing all the way back in the day when they decided to switch from paganism to Christianity.
Yeah.
And they needed a way to just put in Christmas and turn away from those winter festivals. But they still got to keep the people pleased, and people aren't just going to throw out 100, 200, 300, 400,000 year tradition, correct? So what they did, it was invented by the Romans, Christmas and Jesus' birthday, and it was a way to co-opt and tame the raucous pagan holiday of Saturnalia. There you guys have it. All right. We knew that they switched from pagan religions and traditions to Christianity.
Yeah.
And so getting into that. And then what happened for more our traditions in the 16th century was German Lutherans. What they did is they were the first ones to really record in history that brought Christmas trees home and decorate them. They actually placed the very first Christmas tree in the cathedral in Strasbourg in 1539 under the leadership of a Protestant reformer, Martin Bucer. And again, all the way back to pagan times, what were some of their traditions? Decorating houses. So now I'm trying to go back to pagan times. What did they decorate the houses with?
Yeah.
Like, were they decorating with lights that I have up right now?
No.
Like Clark Griswold, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The neighborhood, the down the kilometers of the road thereby. Gonna see me. Door-to-door carolers. So I like how they said carolers. Were they really caroling? Like, what were they singing? What was going on?
True.
Pagans, I can't see them outside caroling. And that's
Maybe, you know?
You know, pagans don't come across as, I don't know, merry people, but who knows? They could be merry, they may not be merry. But they would have exchanging of gifts, mistletoe and holidays, holly and mistletoe, and even food was prepared. So it sounds awful Christmassy to me.
Yeah, it's pretty much the traditions we all follow.
Yeah. And so now we know that it's not Jesus's birthday.
No.
Here's another thing I want to say, though, I thought of. And I want to plant seeds into people because I want thoughts about this. I want, what do you think about this? If the pagan holiday was celebrated in the winter solstice, and those times were the 17th to the 23rd of December, if we celebrate as of the 24th, 25th, and 26th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that still pagan? I remember last year in The Wrath of the Left Hand, we spoke about Christmas because it did come up about it being a pagan holiday, and we kind of looked into it, but it was just after Christmas, and we didn't really make a big deal about it because why make an episode about Christmas after Christmas?
Yeah.
And I brought up a fact that when my parents were over and we were all decorating the house and decorating the tree and everything, and people were singing and having a good time, where was the devil?
Yeah.
Right? When we were decorating the outside of the house, and remember when we stood out front and we just kind of took in the house and the lights? Where was the devil? On Christmas Eve, when we celebrated with Jesus and the people at church and with my family and your mom was there and all that, where was the devil?
Exactly.
When the kids woke up and we got the presents going and everything, where was the devil? Mm-hmm. They say Jesus is the reason for the season. And I used to say, well, yeah, even if he wasn't born there, we're celebrating because of him. So really, we're celebrating Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? I was watching Geno Jennings. Do you know who Geno Jennings is? I'm telling you this. He gets me almost every time. Mm-hmm. He's a great pastor. I think that he is on the level. And I like what he preaches about. And I like what he stands for and what he stands on. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe in my heart he is a follower of Jesus Christ. So he is saying it's paganism. Mm-hmm. It's pagan. He is calling out his congregation. You know, you got trees up in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you celebrating paganism. This got nothing to do with God. This got nothing to do with Jesus. Mm-hmm. And man, he was blunt. You shouldn't be giving presents. You shouldn't be accepting presents. You shouldn't be decorating your house. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh. And it's really eating me alive. And I want to say I don't know why, but I sort of do know why. And remember yesterday we were talking. I was saying like how I was just kind of confused and I didn't know what. And you're like, you just kind of want God to come down and just look at you right in your eyes and say, do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
And it's almost like one of those moments right now where I wish God would come down and just be like, yeah, you know, don't do that. Or, yeah, it's cool. It's not really that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. I wonder, is it demonic? Is it evil to have such a great time with your friends and family and fellowship at your church?
I can't see it because there's love through everything. That's why the devil wasn't in it. There was love. There was joy. There was peace. And if you are a true follower of Jesus, you love the Lord with all your heart, you know it's not his birthday, but the world thinks that it is. And whether they realize it or not, they're celebrating him.
Well, what was it was Germany, wasn't it, that celebrated the feast of Adam and Eve, and that's another reason that trees got put up?
Yeah, that got me, because it's like they're worshiping Adam and Eve. And when we read it, they decorated the trees with apples.
Yeah,
like,
apples.
Cool, guys. Let's put what caused the downfall of humanity, and we're all sinners now because they ate that apple. But sure, put it on a tree and celebrate their big old feast.
During those feasts too, during the pagan times and these festivals, when they celebrated the rebirth of the sun, borers of evergreen were laid in Greek and Roman temples to ward off evil spirits and to appease the gods and provide an abundant harvest. Since the god Saturnalia or Saturnus, the god of agriculture, right? So they're like, this is just, we're basically continuing a tradition. Okay. Now I'm just wondering if it's truly evil. Like, is this truly a non-Christian thing? Is this something that would anger God? Is this idol worship?
Yeah, like, are we turning this holiday into an idol by refusing to get rid of the pagan traditions of it?
Well, if we were to get rid of the pagan traditions of it, we just don't do it. That's a thing. So that means you don't decorate, you don't give gifts, you just don't do it. And here's another thing too. That means that you go to work on those days.
Yeah, it's true.
My company shuts down for those days. And I believe we shut down here at CDK Square.
Yeah.
But if we could go to work, and that's like double time and a half.
Yes.
Some pretty big money. So, I guess, unless it's on a Saturday and Sunday, but this is where we come into the pickle of it all. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
We are young Christians, and we know what our thoughts of our church is.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that we can get in people to chime in on that comment from our church, from other churches in our area. But this is going to spread wide and far. And we're hoping that you tune in as well and just answer some of those questions. What do you think? Do we put those wonderful lights around the house?
I don't know. I do, like everything, when I'm not 100% sure, go to the Bible.
Yes.
And I did find a scripture, and it was Jeremiah 10, 1 through 5. Hear the word that the Lord speaks to you, O Israel. This is what the Lord says. Do not act like other nations who try to read their future in the stars. Do not be afraid of their predictions, even though other nations are terrified by them. Their ways are futile and foolish. They cut down a tree and a craftsman carves an idol. They decorate it with gold and silver and then fasten it securely with hammer and nails.
Yeah.
So it won't fall over, which, I mean, growing up, how many times, even I've done it, where you take a string, tie it around the tip of the tree, nail a nail to the wall, and tie that string to the nail so it stays sturdier and doesn't tip over. So are we turning the holiday decorations into an idol? Like, what are we worshiping?
Yeah, that's a good point, because the tree is a type of their idol.
Yeah.
Right. And it just goes to show, because during that time too, like, look what Israel was doing. They would always fall away from God, and they would always be turning to another God, another idol, another false God.
Yeah.
Right. So they were constantly being disobedient. And so I believe that verse right there, or that scripture, is talking in a sense about Israel's disobedience. And it's not particularly, we can relate it to say, well, man, that sounds like chopping down a Christmas tree and putting a Christmas tree in your house. It really does.
Yes,
it sounds like the old school way. They put an X of wood at the bottom of it. You get your tree nailed to it, and then boom, it would stay there until it would die off.
Yeah.
And then you threw it outside. And that's what would help it stand up. But you can really relate it to it. Reality too, that's really good for this, because are we being disobedient?
Yeah.
Are we idol worshiping? Are we bringing honor to false gods?
Mm-hmm.
by doing this. Like, that's crazy. There's a spiritual realm and there's spiritual warfare. And literally, we could be on that day just powering up this God that does not deserve that kind of response, that kind of attention and idol worship. So we're going to lean on people for that, right? A little side note, thinking about that, the spiritual warfare is real. And it got me to thinking, the spirit realm is very real. All right. And they're constantly coming after us who are God's children. Mm-hmm. All right. They hate us. And there's a reason for it. Think about this. Satan defied God. Mm-hmm. Went against him. Got angels with him. Went to war. Lost the battle. God, Michael, cast him out. Mm-hmm. Cast all the other angels out as well. He's never allowed back home. He's never allowed back home. He's one of the most beautiful creations that God ever made. He loved him.
Yep.
And because of his defiance and his disobedience, he got thrown out forever.
Yeah.
Then comes along us, his most beloved creation. And he's already came in and he brought sin and death into the world through Adam and Eve, right?
Through that apple.
Yeah.
Once they put on the tree, but yeah, go ahead.
So instead of grabbing Adam and Eve and casting them out, you're never back, just everything he did to Satan, right? No, he made them clothes. And he covered them up so they wouldn't be cold. And though he led them out of the garden, I believe he did that with the sense that there was love behind it. Mm-hmm. There was a reason for it.
They said they couldn't be in there anymore.
Yeah, but there was a reason for it, though. And he knew that it was better where they had to go, right? God knew it was best for them. So what a rage thing to go. Like, think about that. You're Satan. You just basically made Adam and Eve do the thing that just was so defiant. You were not supposed to. You could do whatever you want, but you just weren't supposed to eat from that one tree.
Yep.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then he got them to do that. And then, boom. Instead of just like he can never go back home. He can never come back into the love embrace of God.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, I got you. And instead, he makes some clothes for us. And he still makes sure we're okay. And looks after us and doesn't forsake us. He even later on sends a Messiah to save us. Okay? Imagine how much these demons hate us now. And so things like this, celebrating these holidays, could really be that. And maybe we truly are in the wrong. So I believe it's time for your guys' answers and your guys' opinions. We would love to hear them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Finally, the Satan-Santa thing.
Oh, the movie.
I wrote it down on a little side note here because I wanted to go back to it. I just seen the cover of it. I'm scrolling. And I heard Jack Black was in something, and I didn't think much of it because of his actions during this whole presidential campaign. I think to see all these actors and everything, they just lost their minds, right? They went too overboard. And it went from, an autistic kid?
I didn't delve that deep into it. I just knew someone that misspelled.
Yeah, it was an autistic kid that misspelled Santa and was Satan. And Satan comes and da-da-da. And it got me thinking, wow, man, that's a really crazy way. He was looking at the picture and everything. Oh, Santa Claus and Satan. Satan's claws get a grasp into us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's Christmas time. People empty their wallets, their bank accounts, their credit cards.
Stress themselves out.
Go into debt. All just to have this crazy, amazing Christmas. So what are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, there's the question, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens here, and let's see how upset people get. And let's see if we can just be kind and courteous to each other.
Yeah, let's have a genuine discussion.
Yeah, let's just have discussions. And sometimes let's agree to disagree. And in the end, we are all going to our own personal judgments.
Yeah, it's a narrow path.
It's a real narrow path. And so if we do find out it's actually 100% wrong, and you do choose to do it,
may God have mercy on your soul.
Do it with love at least. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, so that's time. And we really appreciate you guys coming in. So for me, Mr. LEF,
and Christina,
we appreciate you tuning in to CDK Square. God bless.
Amen.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.